Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to figure out if companies are playing 4D chess or just flailing in the dark and hoping for the best. Today we have a bit of a departure story from Kemper Corporation. And let me tell you, when someone leaves a big role, it often comes with some interesting financial fallout. So Kemper Corporation, you might know them from their insurance and financial services. They filed this report because a key executive, Dwayne A. Sanders, who was the executive vice president and chief claims officer for their property and casualty division, has stepped down. He technically departed from that role back in October, but is sticking around as an advisor until the end of this year. Now, what is really interesting here is his exit package. It sounds like Kemper decided to part ways with him without cause, which usually means a more generous severance. And generous it is. Mr. Sanders is set to receive a cash severance of 1.5 times his base salary plus his target bonus. We're talking about a cool $2,025,000 here. That is a significant sum, folks. On top of that, he'll still be eligible for his 2025 annual bonus, but it will be prorated based on his service through the 31st of December. The exact payout will depend on how well the company hit its financial, individual, and strategic goals. So, his performance, even after leaving his main role, still impacts how much more money he gets. They're also covering the employer's portion of his healthcare for a full 18 months, which is a pretty solid benefit, especially in today's healthcare landscape. And to top it all off, he gets 12 months of financial planning services. This sounds like Kemper is making sure he is well taken care of and has a smooth transition out. Now, for the truly juicy part, his stock and equity awards. Because he is meeting the requirements for retirement vesting under some of these awards, they will continue to vest as per their original terms. This means even though he is leaving his executive position, he could still see significant value from his long-term incentives. It's a common practice to incentivize executives to stay with the company, but seeing it play out like this, even in a departure, is noteworthy. The big caveat here, of course, is that he still needs to stick to the restrictive covenants like non-competition and non-solicitation, and a standstill provision. If he breaks those, well, that golden parachute might get a little less golden. This entire setup is outlined in what they call a separation and release agreement. Basically, Mr. Sanders is releasing Kemper from any claims he might have against them in exchange for this package. It's a standard way for companies to manage departures and avoid potential lawsuits. This filing also lists the exhibits, and the big one here is Exhibit 99.1, which is the actual separation and release agreement. So, if you are really curious about the nitty-gritty of the deal, that is the document to read. And of course, they've included the interactive data file for the cover page, which is standard practice for these filings. Now, let's step back and look at the bigger picture here. What does this tell us about Kemper? A departure like this, especially with a substantial payout, often signals a strategic shift or perhaps a recognition that a certain leadership approach or focus wasn't yielding the desired results. While the document focuses on the executive's exit package, it doesn't delve into the company's overall financial health. We usually see more of that in their quarterly reports like the 10Q, or their annual reports, the 10K. However, the generosity of this package, especially the continued vesting of equity, implies that Kemper values Mr. Sanders' contribution and wants to ensure a smooth and amicable separation. It also suggests that the company and Mr. Sanders are aligned on the reasons for his departure and are eager to move forward without lingering disputes. What we're not seeing in this particular filing are detailed financial statements or a deep dive into risks and strategies. This is an 8K report, which is typically used for significant events that shareholders should know about promptly, like executive changes or material agreements. The financial meat and potatoes, the stuff that really tells us if Kemper is growing, shrinking, or just treading water, would be in their other filings. Looking at this from a Warren Buffett perspective, you'd ask, is this payout a sign of past success or a necessary cost to fix future problems? Without more financial context from this specific filing, it is hard to say definitively. But a payout of over $2 million for a departing executive is significant enough to make an analyst pause and wonder, is this an investment in a fresh start? Or a hefty price tag for what might be perceived as a necessary change? The fact that the company has common stock and subordinated debentures listed on the NICE, specifically symbols like KMPR and KMPB, indicates it is a publicly traded entity with diverse financial instruments. This separation agreement is a single event, but it's part of the ongoing story of how Kemper manages its talent and its financial obligations. Alright, that is our breakdown of Kemper Corporation's latest filing. What is your take on executive severance packages and their impact on shareholder value? Do you think this kind of payout is justified when a company is facing its own challenges? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. And don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description for more engaging discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.